So, good morning, good morning. Yesterday was a busy day, but good morning, good morning. Yesterday was a busy day, but I'm glad. We're going to talk about fate and free will. We're going to talk about the magic of our incarnations and the magic of free will. And I came across, oh, bloody hell. Please tell me I didn't lose this. Hang on, okay? Good morning, TF Journey. Good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If you could share the live, there's something I wanted to read to you, and I'm like, fuck. So let me look for it real quick because it's really important. So again, it's from Alana Fairchild, Angelic Light Work. Now, everyone that's ever been, anyone that I really, how do I put this without sounding crass? Everyone I've ever met that was really on the spiritual path has either read the Bhagavad Gita or has read some experts of the Bhagavad Gita, right? And I was going to give you the name of the Bhagavad Gita, the version you can read online on Audible, and I knew I forgot something because this morning what I did is I did my meditation for 30 minutes, opened the four corners above and below, and I'm going to read this to you. Then I will pull an oracle deck from the Earth Warriors. Again, Alana Fairchild. She's my girl. My girl. Doesn't pull punches. Not full of shit. Doesn't sugarcoat it. Tells you where you're at. Tells you where to go. And the right, vibrational consciousness. And the right acceptance. So that's what we're going to do today. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning, Jennifer. It's good to see you guys. Thank you so much. Katie. Good to see you, Katie. So it's not... I'm glad because I just got triggered in a good way. So when you're twin, let's talk about first that, then we're going to go into free will, and then we're going to do the collective oracle. Free will. I've talked about it many times, but I don't think you can over repeat certain ideas because the human mind only actually absorbs 15% of what anyone says. So imagine the conversations with your twin. You've got to understand that 15%, not 50, 15% will be absorbed by the twin brain. So that means that when you say, well, I already told him, her that. Yes, I know. Say it again. You're going to have to say the same shit 60 different ways, metaphoric ways, using parables, using all kinds of different ways to breach through that monkey mind that is hell-bent on fucking losing due to self-loathing, due to the usually it's sexual trauma. I'm sorry. It's early childhood bullshit. Fuckery that happened. And quite often, it actually layers of that shit from other incarnation. So does that make sense? Absolute permission. Oh, that's so cool. Thank you. I just got your text, Rachel. Awesome. So, you've got to understand. You've got to wrap your head around that, and for you to understand that, you're gonna have to be really honest about your early shadow boxing with your own self-loathing, or your subtle self-harming, or sabotaging. So I was giving the analogy to this client last night of saying, tell your twin that him running is like him trying to outrun his shadow on a sidewalk. Good luck. So we have many shadows on the sidewalk, and you can't outrun them. They're attached to us, right? It's almost like cans, right? Like cans have been tied behind a car or behind our legs. Like the clinging and clanging. There's no silence in that mental trauma, and the looping, and the self-loathing, and the shaming of self, and the hiding things that they did. And so the question I always ask my clients is, look back 10 years ago. Would you have done that fuckery today? The answer is no. Hell to the no. No, I would have never done that. Good. Then that means you're not that person anymore. So forgiveness is coming from a place, a vantage point where you look down aerially at your life And you realize that every move you made, that's one of the things I do in the four corners above and below. I turn to the south and I say, grandmother, grandfather of the south, thank you for placing me upon the wings of Garuda, which is it's an eagle, okay? An eagle. The eagle. I'm not going to get into what Garuda is, but I'm telling you what I actually say. And for every life, every birth, every death, every grief, every joy, every tear, every betrayal, just the list goes on, right? You go on. Because I would not be who I am today if I had not gone through every step of these experiences. And I'm so grateful for this life. Aho. So it's realizing that you're not that person, just like when you go through a past life incarnation, right? And you find out that you were a Viking warrior, or you were some brutal thug, or you were a courtesan, a prostitute on the streets of London in the 1600s, before the Great Fire, and you died in the Great Fire. You got to ask yourself, were you that person? And are you still that person? Does that person still resonate with your frequency? There are some incarnations that will, like maybe you being a Native American or a Celtic Druid or a high priestess or, a midwife that could still, and that those are the things that you want to hang on to. Those are the things that you want to bring back out, those wisdoms that are inherent in you. Like you have those memories. All you need to do is just fucking show up for yourself every morning or every day or every night or however you want to do it. And so when your twin is running and literally telling you they love you and then do some fuckery like ghosting you, just realize that they are having a massive exorcism. It's a fight between the ego and the soul. That's why Bufo, which is frog medicine, which a lot of you go, oh my God, drugs. No, it's plant medicine, okay? No one's doing heroin over here. But it's plant medicine, and what it does is some people, not everyone, some of you guys are starseeds. You came out like fucking kicking ass. But then you got covered over by the bullshit of society. But some of us need Bufo. We needed Bufo to do the final ego death. We needed it. We couldn't continue with these vestiges, these debris of self-loathing and imposter syndrome. And you get where I'm going here with that, right? So we needed the Bufo. And the Bufo is some serious shit. So the best way to find Bufo, because it's not exactly allowed here in this country, is to find a combo practitioner, combo, Kambo. And a combo practitioner, believe me, they know somebody who's got Bufo. Anyway, and does it well. Because combo practitioners usually go to Peru, Brazil, and they usually do a stage, or what they call a stage, an internship, whatever you want to call it, in the jungles with a shaman. And that's what you want to find. Somebody who actually did the work, actually went into the brushes, learned the medicine, frog medicine, and know their shit and have a passion for it, like a passion. And that's not always easy to find in the world of fake charlatans, shamans, witchcraft, voodoo bullshit. It's not easy. So usually you want to get recommendations from people who you really look up to, who you really fucking trust, who are walking in their full light, So with that said, and so when your twin is entrenched in 3D, like, quicksand, they can't get out. They know that there's better. They know what you're offering. They know, believe me, they fucking know. And then something implodes, collapses over them like a tower falling over their head, and they're blinded by the soot and smoke and the debris of their own self-sabotage, right? And then they're blinded. And then they choose not to see because it's so painful to see and to try to stretch out to you with fingertips that never touch you. And they're reaching out and then they give up. They just fucking give up because they're like, I'm not worthy. He doesn't know what I did the last time we separated. He doesn't know that this happened to me when I was 5. I'm not good enough for him. He is better off without me. It's a real... I did it when I was 25 with my twin. massive regret because I was not around mentors. And every young starseed needs mentors. They need at least an auntie, an elder, and a masculine and feminine. Because to have, especially these starseeds today, they have been exposed to shit no child should be exposed to, visually speaking. And you know what I mean? These parents are stupid. I'm sorry. I mean, they're allowing their kids to see shit. My son told me that the average kid is 9 when they first see PORN. He said, Mom, I'm so glad that you guys were like helicopter mom. It wasn't until I was 17. Hello. Yeah, that should be the norm. Not the, and we weren't like some kind of cult, okay? Controlling and subjugating our son, my husband and I. We just knew that there would be shit that he would see in the dark web, that he would go down the rabbit hole and it could fucking turn him out. So our job was to make sure he knew everything about sex. Because if you don't tell your child, somebody else who's got deviant intentions will. Just on a side note. So when you say to yourself, but I've told them they're the love of my life. I've told them I haven't cheated. I've told them. Say it again and again and again in different ways. And use examples and use parables. And in fact, it's not stupid to use parable. Yeshua would do it all the time. Parables is when you make up a story. You know how sometimes I'll come up with analogies and metaphors? Yeah, learn how to do that. You've got to really teach your twin how to think metaphorically, and you have to teach yourself how to communicate metaphorically, because sometimes the languages, especially if you only speak one language, you're going to have a hard time coming up with different ways of saying, I love you, you're all I want, our soul connection, it goes back, is infinite. What are you talking about? You're fucking leaving. What are you doing, man? And don't you want to win? Don't be surprised if you ask that question and they say, I don't deserve to win. Don't be surprised. Those are some of the questions you need to ask. Do you want to win? Do you want to win in life? What does that mean? Do you want abundance, love, health, and wealth? Do you want this? Do you want to be happy? Do you want to have it all? Oh, it's not possible. We can't have it all. Oh, really? How come? Why can't you have it all? Why isn't it possible to have it all? Well, because that's not how the world works. It works like that. Yeah, but what are you talking about? Are we supposed to live our grandparents' lives? Or are we supposed to go out here on this planet and originate new ways of living? Isn't that what we're supposed to do? Originating new ideas. Do you know that in the 1950s, when you were 50 years old, your teeth were pulled out, you were fitted with dentures, and you look like shit? At the age of today, 50, you look like you're 35. That's the norm now. At 50, to look like you're 35, 39, unless you've had a massively hard life, like, massive, and you've done some drugs, massive drugs. But typically, 50, you look like you're 35. I remember when I was 45, I was still being carded. Okay, for at Trader Joe. I'll never forget. I was like hysterical. 45. Hello. So my point is that we have originated again and again new ways of living our lives, new ways of loving, new ways of being. We are not supposed to replicate the old system as it collapses. You just don't do that. Okay? So a question you may want to ask your twin when you're back in conversation is, do you want to win? And they'll ask you, what do you mean win? Win. Well, I don't know. What do you mean win? Win what? At life. They'll be like aghast. Win at life. Having abundance of love, health, and wealth. Do you want to win? And if they pause and you see them lowering their eyes and they're like literally thinking about it, don't get pissed off. I remember I did get pissed off, but because it was like, but don't get pissed off. Sit there and give them sacred space, because they need you to get them out of the maze of their monkey mind. So listen. Listen to the silence. Watch their body language. See what erupts out of their mouth when they finally are ready to answer. And then the next question is, depending on what they say, whether I don't want to win, I don't deserve to win, I want to win. If they say I don't deserve to win, or they've asked them, why don't you deserve to win? What have you done that's so evil that you wouldn't deserve to win in life? And so these are the kinds of things that you want to ask somebody. If your twin is dealing with addiction, sexual addiction, deviancy in some forms, right? Then the question is, do you want to control your root chakra, or do you want the powers that be to control your root chakra? That would be the next question. Does that make sense? That would be the next question, because that's going to put you in a place of massive excavating. Does that make sense? And when you are going through the deconstructing of why your twin doesn't want to win, when you start excavating that with them, that's going to be massive. That's going to be massive. You may even leave long voice notes on, if hopefully they have WhatsApp, so you can't be destroyed or buried alive by other things. But leave voice notes, long voice notes that tell your twin what you're actually spiritually picking up on. And you'll be able to do that. You'll be able to reach them, because at some point one day they'll listen to it and they'll understand. The aspect of the root chakra being the very epicenter of why you guys are in runner chasers. And I've said this before, you can live with your twin and still be in a runner chaser dynamic. You can live with your twin and still be in separation. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Does that make sense to you guys? Because you see, whenever they are with you and they say, no, I gotta go. No, this is not gonna work. No, we can't, I'm not where you're at. Whatever, however they want to run. They want to run, right? But they're living with you. Sleeping with you. Making love to you. And then suddenly out of nowhere, they want to run. And tell them the shadow is attached to that. All your shadows are attached to that. And so if you want your root chakra to belong to others, you're never going to find peace. And the one thing I can tell you that is fantastic, it's actually a win-win for all of us, for you guys, is that every single human being walking the planet wants to understand why the monkey mind is kicking the shit out of them pretty much daily. They all want peace. And so if they realize that their hauntings, right, of the monkey mind, destroying their peace of mind, rarely having peace of mind, unless they do something like play music, draw, hit the weights, where their mind empties. Runners will say their minds. Some runners say their mind empty. Some runners say they're cluttered. But anyway, they all want their minds to find a place of peace in their thoughts, and that takes training. And you have the medicine, because you know what to do. Because in many of my lives, I've told you what to do. So that's all you have to do, is just start guiding them to that. And you guide them to that by doing it in front of them. They are no better than children. Children learn from their parents, not by what parents say, but by what parents do. That means if they see you in meditation, that means if they see you saging yourself, that means if they'll start being curious and approaching, because it's like a moth to a flame. A moth is attracted to light, right? And in this case, it's a positive light. It won't harm your twin. It will bring them into the beautiful cocoon of your light until their light, grows on its own. So that's really going to be important. So thank you, Jennifer. Any questions or comments on that? Any questions or comments? So I did want to bring in what I wanted to read to you about with Alana Fairchild. And I want to read it to you verbatim, because this is probably going to be the most important conversation you can have with yourself, your twin, about free will and fate. And portals open and close. So there will be moments where the portals open to the benefit of you and your twin being in union. And if your free will is hell-bent on losing, you will fuck up that opportunity. You or them, right? The portals will close and there will be a separation. And there'll be nothing you can fucking do about it. Nothing. And then the portals will open again. And hopefully your free will will come in. And then a soul contract needs to be finished with another human being or God. In other words, your person will either have to finish up some soul contracts with people that, it was predestined, and they'll do it, which will cause separation. And then the final soul contract portal closing is when they die. And your decision is whether or not you're going to go into a place of massive dark night of the soul, or if you're going to learn how to communicate with your twin with the portals, with the veils separating you. So with that said, I'm going to read to you, it's page 40. It's from the Angelic Lightwork, Magic and Manifestation with the Angels, and Alana Fairchild. And I opened the page. So you probably know that by now. Maybe you don't. And I opened this page and I went, oh my God, I have to do a live on this. I have to read this. So let's go. Cherubim. Bizarrely, these angels have become known as fat baby angels with golden curly locks and blue eyes. And in Australia, at least, they're featured on the logo of a certain brand of toilet paper. However, prior to that astonishing transformation, some historians believe that cherubim were the hybrid creature guardians that flanked the entranceways to sacred spaces such as inner sanctums of temples. Their presence indicated the closeness of the god or goddess, and as such, they were a barrier between human and divine presence. You might wonder why there would need to be such a barrier between humans and the divine presence, but there is kindness in it. The Bhagavad Gita is a scripture written in Sanskrit that recounts a conversation between Arjuna and a young warrior and his beloved God Krishna, who is a lord of love, music, healing, and divine beauty. Arjuna is troubled by going to war, by what his path asks of him. At one point, he realizes that he's going to have to fight his family, and his heart breaks at the thought of that. So he prays to his beloved God and asks for spiritual guidance. At one point in their ensuing conversation, Arjuna begs Krishna to really reveal himself fully so that he may have enough faith to stay true to the sacred life path even when it is difficult. Krishna consents to his request and shows himself. Arjuna, limited to human understanding, even with his wisdom and devotion, is terrified by what he sees. Krishna appears wild and strange, and he is so powerful that he frightens Arjuna. Let me tell you what he does, okay? Because I'm not digging how she's describing it. What he sees is the Big Bang. He sees the formation of galaxies. So what Krishna does is Krishna opens himself up to Arjuna's and parts the mortal eyes, the 3D eyes of Arjuna, and shows him as this incredible, expansive, infinite galaxies, explosive stars, falling stars, planets, different hybrids of existence, sentient beings incarnated. I mean, it's all going at once. It's like the funnel opening, and he's just dumping all this stuff to Arjuna. Many of it too esoteric for Arjuna to hang on to for long. So it's like a flash of lightning of realization of what realities are. And then the funnel closes and Arjuna goes back into 3D. And so I'll continue reading. So Krishna appears wild and strange, and he is powerful, and it frightens Arjuna. Arjuna cannot understand what he is seeing, and his fear makes him back away from his beloved friend. He immediately begs Krishna to return to his more friendly, accessible form, and his loving God agrees to do so. Why was Arjuna God so terrifying? It's not actually about the nature of God per se. There is a story in the Jewish tradition that 3 holy men went into the room where God dwelled. One dropped dead, one went insane, the other became enlightened. Did you get that? Did you get that? Let me repeat that, because you got to understand what you're dealing with. Not everyone's going to ascend. Not everyone has the fucking synapses to do it. Not everyone has the heart frequency coherence to do it. Let me repeat. 3 holy men went into the room where God dwelled. One dropped dead, one went insane, and the other became enlightened. That brings tears. It was the same God that all three men saw. So why did they have different experiences? Ask yourself that. Why? They saw the same God, the same energy. Why would they have such experiences? And for those who suffered, who did they suffer? Especially in all authentic spiritual traditions, the divine presence is associated with love. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to stop here. But she brings up Bhagavad Gita. They all do. All the great minds bring up Bhagavad Gita in some way, because it talks about fate, right? Free will and fate. Anyway, so when there's a Dr. Joe Dispenza meditation, which is in his Becoming Supernatural. It's episode 1 in Gaia. Okay? It's episode 1 in Gaia. It's free. If you want to do all his other episodes, you unfortunately got to pay some ducats. But in that one, he takes you into the 9th dimension. And it's black. It's all darkness. It's black. And for some people, it's frightening. I remember I would do a lot. I would do this meditation a lot, and to be honest with you, I have to do it again. But I remember my ego collapsing in that meditation, and I was sobbing in joy, and I was almost touching infinity, almost touching the essence. It's almost like trying to touch your beloved, but you can't quite reach, right? Because they're 10 feet away from you. And it felt like that energy was coming closer to me. And it was so intense, I literally shot back into my body. There's a guided meditation I have on YouTube. It's a soul retrieval guided meditations where you go down this hallway and you open a door. And I've had clients come back going, when I opened the door, it was all black. I went, oh, okay. Did you go through it? No, I closed the door. Okay. And then I have to explain to them what that is. It's the abyss of co-creation. It's a starting point where you can start actually creating from nothing whole worlds. Your world with your twin. Believe it or not. So this is why when your twin is entrenched in fear, self-loathing, 3D consciousness, you don't have a shot in hell. And I'm not kidding, in ever being in union. And when I mean union, I mean lasting union. You might hook up for the weekend and then they run again and ghost you, whatever, right? But I'm talking about lasting union. They have to wake up. So your conscious intention and focus should be about what I read, she reads. When I ask for downloads of new light codes through my crown chakra, it benefits my twin as well. I don't care if your twin's in the human body, having the human experience, or is no longer alive. Makes no difference, actually. None. What matters is you're on the same page. What matters is that you're sending remote healing. Imagine the kahunas, right? To think that. But yes, you are. You're sending remote healing to your twin. Whether they're in the human body having the human experience or not. That doesn't end. Okay? So that's what's important about realizing why your twin is doing what they're doing. And every twin has that is going through this self-loathing, self-sabotage, does something in self-harming. I don't want to be with you, let's just be friends. I still want you in my life, but I might jinx it if we become lovers again. You're better off without me. That's a massive self-loathing. That's like the hate's big. And they might do some pretty wild shit. Jumping out of planes. To me, that's wild shit. Jumping out of planes, just doing all kinds of shit, putting themselves in harm's way. Almost like egging the universe on, take me out. I'm fucking sick of this incarnation. I'm not kidding. I'm being real. And so what you have to do is be patient, which is very difficult. Believe me, I know, because I'm not patient. My levels, you've got to understand, me and my twin are like two lions. Have you ever seen lions attack each other? The male lion has gone too far and the female lion just goes off. Yeah, that was me. So I'm giving you advice. When I stopped that behavior, right, I came into a place of more neutrality to give him sacred space. But quite often I would get triggered, and tell him, I'm sick of this shit. Just fucking go. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Just go, man. I mean, I'm done. Please, just stop. I'm off the merry-go-round. I'm getting off. And then something would shake through him, and I would see his vulnerability in his eyes, and I would just get on his lap and put my arms around his neck, and we would both hug each other really tightly, and he would cry saying, I'm sorry, just don't listen to me when I say these things. Just don't listen to me. So you're going to have to realize, by the way, 23, our number, my twins here, as usual. So real, right? Yeah, Katie. I feel like I've done a disservice by leaving him to it. No shit. Would you leave a 2-year-old in the middle of the street? Yeah, fuck it. The kid's it's having a tantrum. Fuck it. Let the kid figure it out. They'll find their way home. Really? Really? The kid's 2 in the middle of the street. They're going to find their way home. Really? In a sense, that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a little boy or a little girl that is absolutely bereft, and God knows what happened to them, because kids that go through that kind of trauma and become the adults that you're dealing with as twins did not have a very easy childhood, okay? You don't come out that fucked up as an adult because, kumbaya, mommy and daddy were great. No. That's not what comes out of those kinds of environments. I've met every blue moon, I'll meet someone who's had absolutely no fucking trauma. It's like, wow. Obeyances to you, my friend. And they're out there, for real. No trauma, none. Great childhood, perfect. But it's like finding a needle in the haystack, right? So just assume that if your twin is self-destructive, that there's definitely a foundation to that one. And that foundation is often ripped apart with tower moments, purposely, by design, by the universe's loving grace. And why in the fuck are we going to keep this foundation? It's rotting. It's got mold. Let's get the foundation out from under your feet. Let's create a new foundation. Let's originate new ideas, new ways of being. But that takes you understanding that you can't keep having the conversation. Though I understand that you got to vent your truth. I get it. And you got to hand the shit they gave you back to them. I'm not saying hold on to it. But the 3 hours of conversation should not be about, why did you call Sally? Why did you like her picture? Why did you make love to me all night long and decide that now you want to, it would be more about what is hurting you so badly that you don't want to win. What is it that you don't want to have an easy life? Why is it that you're leaving knowing that your life is going to be, and I'm being honest when I say shit. The universe is going to kick your ass because you're not in the right state of mind to go out there and do your own thing. I'm not saying you need me in a way. I'm saying that if you leave, your life is going to get hard and harder still and even harder than that. Because you're not in the right state of mind. And what I mean by that is that you're not emotionally coherent. You are trying to run from things that are triggering you, that are scaring you. And you think that by running, that you will run away, you'll outrun your shadow. It will always be on that sidewalk. Good luck. What you need to do is make that shadow your ally and heal that shadow self so that you walk beside it and you smile. That's not your reality right now. Does that make sense? And so these are the kinds of conversations you want to have. And you've got to insist. Like when me and my twin were, when he was alive, we would listen to audible books. It was 24, I'm not kidding, constantly. What I mean by 24/7, every morning, I would get ready for work. We'd do 1 hour of what's his name? Eckhart Tolle. As I was getting ready, having my coffee, my almond butter, my banana, putting on my makeup, all that shit. And he would have me pause. Did you hear that? Let's repeat that. What do you think of that? We talk about stuff. At night, we do another Eckhart Tolle or a Gaia show, an episode. In other words, we would read. He would read out loud to me. I would read out loud to him from esoteric books, spiritual books. And it was a constant habit. It was how we lived our lives together. And and even then we dealt with separation. And do you know when we dealt with separation was when I was busy with my son and he was busy doing something else, and we stopped doing that. That was a bond which clarified our ego's issues, his, mine. When we stopped listening to these books, reading these books and so forth together, that's when we started having the ruptures. Because we weren't understanding what our ego was actually forcing us to do that was against our better judgment, our better heart chakra judgment, if that makes sense. So that's really, let me see. Amen. That's great. Let me see here. Let me read all this. This is really cool. Hang on, okay? I remember when I first saw my first cherubim and seraphim in meditation. Impossible to describe in English. I feel like I've done a disservice by leaving him to it, which I answered. Yeah, I felt I left it all lovingly. Isn't it the most beautiful thing? So real. It's hard because not all. What if we both run? You're both, no offense, that's really fucked up because you're not getting anywhere. And the question is, if you both run, are you twins? How do you know you're twins? Because I had a client last night who thought they were a twin, and I said, that's not a twin. It's not a twin. I said, but let's ask if a twin or twin ray is coming, because her consciousness was a little, very elevated. She's going to an ascension pace very fast. So sure enough, boom, there it was. I kept throwing cards for this guy that she thought was, no. I kept seeing what it was, but it wasn't that. It was, soulmate, ninth level, high level soulmate. But then when I asked, is there a twin flame or twin ray coming up? Boom. I went, whoa, there you go. So free will, the fuckery of free. I've actually had a client where I did that, and she went, well, I just want to stay with my high level soulmate. I go, okay, but the twin's coming. I mean, it's a divine appointment. You can do whatever the hell you want with that divine appointment. You can actually push it off. You can delay it. You can say no to it. Absolutely, free will. But the fate doesn't end. You're meeting this person. That's not a maybe or well, what if I reject it? Will I meet him? Yeah, no, honey, you don't understand. It's an appointment etched in the Akashic records. You're not avoiding that appointment. It's happening. Well, how will I meet him? I don't know. It depends on what level your consciousness is at that day where suddenly the portal is open. I don't know. But will you resist persists. And she really loves her high level soulmate. No, and it could be that she meets her twin, and she's with her high level soulmates for 10 years. He dies. Well, okay, people die. And boom, here he comes back. Boy, let's start the journey. It's funny how people really think they can. There's certain things that you can totally manifest. Absolutely. That's why the Akashic record is a moving library. It's like a pulsing heartbeat. It's constantly moving. And there are things that you can manifest. That's why we can manifest stuff. Because there are 100 paths to a certain question. Hundreds of paths you could take. And then there's some things that are fated. There's one path and there's no deviation. You cannot move from that. Period. End of story. End stop. You see what I'm saying? So that's why when sometimes things don't manifest, you don't say, oh, that shit doesn't work. You go, oh my God, thank you, universe. Thank you so much. Apparently you're guiding me to something better for me. And you release with gratitude. If something doesn't come through, it means it's not for you. End of story. You didn't fail. It's not for you. And so when you look at the runner-chaser dynamic in a twin flame, it always goes right back to the root chakra. This is what Andromeda flame keep beating in our conversations, beating it, beating and beating, because people, okay, root chakra, got it. I'll just work on my root chakra. Some people will actually hire someone to work on their chakras. Hire me, I'll teach you how to do your chakras. And then you'll do your own chakras. It's kind of like you hiring me to teach you how to take a bath. Would you really hire me to teach you how to take a bath? Really? I mean, I'll teach you. Don't get me wrong. But, and I teach clients how to do it because they honestly don't know how to do it. Like they can't, like spatial reasoning on those kinds of spiritual ideas and concepts, they can't, which is fine because they've forgotten, because for 2,000-3,000 incarnation, they have been covered over. So it's normal, you know? So it's not that people like me teach you anything. It's that we remind you of what you've long forgotten. Long forgotten. You know how squirrels bury their nuts? And they don't remember where the hell they buried it, but they find somebody else's nuts, right? They find other things, or sometimes their own. And it's kind of like that idea. It's that idea of something long buried now found by you or someone else, yeah? It's ancient wisdoms. It's not, there's nothing new age about these concepts I'm talking about. Nothing new. It's not new at all. It's a very toxic word, new age. I find that there's more, how do I put this diplomatically? New age people, there's as many fucked up new age people as there are in the Catholic Church, Hebrew, Muslim, the Buddhist, Vedic. Yeah, it doesn't mean shit. It just means that they believe in reincarnation, and it means that they understand karma, but they're still, you know. So my point is to realize that be careful who you work with. Like, seriously, be careful. If you walked into a restaurant, an open kitchen, and you saw the cook with like a big ass beard, can you imagine? And his hair all over the place, and you just saw him blow his nose and not wash his hands and then prepare your meal, I think hopefully you'd walk out of the restaurant. And in a sense, you've got to really you got to judge somebody. You got to look at them or feel their vibration and go, does this feel right to me? Like yesterday, I taught this client how to go into heart coherence, how to tap into her heart frequency. The compass that will never lie to you is your heart chakra. Never. It will never lie. Your monkey mind, oh, fucking all day long. It will lie. And take you down these weird paths, dead-end streets, and you'll go, how the hell did I end up here? Because you were listening to your mind, not your heart. And the problem with your twin who's running and self-destructive is they are listening to their monkey mind. There is a tape looping. And meditation takes years and years of practice. And the mantras, see, when we teach you mantras, when I teach my clients mantras, Om Namah Shivaya, simple one to do. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. The monkey one will tell you all these fucked up things, and you'll say, fuck you, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, and you'll go again and again and again. Yes, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Sometimes I do that mantra or a Kali mantra or whatever, the 15, 20 minutes to my destination. The whole entire time I'm chanting, yes, because I'd rather have that in my consciousness than my stupid little monkey mind saying the weirdest fucking bizarro shit. To be honest with you, my monkey mind doesn't do that too often anymore. Not because I'm walking on water, but because I have trained my monkey mind. It knows, shut the hell up. So because it knows, you say that, we're going to be chanting for 20 minutes. So if you want quiet, shut up. And it knows that now. You see what I'm saying? So now it's become a servant to my soul, not a bully to my soul. See? The monkey mind needs to serve my soul, not bully my soul. And in a sense, that's what's happening to your twin running and saying all kinds of fuck. And you're like, where did that, wait, we had the best sex. What the fuck? We had the perfect weekend. What the hell's going on? It throws you for a loop because they're thinking to themselves, this is too much nectar. I don't deserve this. I don't deserve this person. I'm a piece of shit. I can't. They're eventually going to find out what a piece of shit I am, so I better end it now because if this ends, this is going to destroy me. That's what the monkey mind thinks. Does that make any questions on that? Any questions or comments? But he still has past life patterns. Yes, he clings to. That he has cultural 3D construction that has him in so much confusion. Great question. Yes. I love what you're saying. All facts. Thank you, Jennifer. Let me see. I think you're pronouncing Om is wrong. Jeannie, honestly, Om Namah Shivaya. Listen to me very carefully. Om is pronounced in any voice, in any dialect, in any accent. It is all acceptable. All of it is acceptable. The vibration of the intention of Om is what's important. Om Namah Shivaya is more important than your monkey mind telling me it's pronounced wrong. See, that's what I'm saying. Your monkey mind's controlling you. You're not in 5D. You're definitely in 3D. Because that's very... it's very judgmental in the wrong way. You can judge all you want, but judge to help others. And that was not helpful. Om, the way I say it, is as powerful as anyone in the world saying it. As powerful as a 2-year-old saying it. As powerful as anyone with any accent, any dialect. You see? Om Namah Shivaya is definitely not the original accent of Sanskrit. You know why? Because no one fucking speaks Sanskrit like it was spoken to 7,000 years ago. So not even Hindus can have the right accent, just so you know on the side note. No one really remembers the vibrational sound unless you would go into deep meditation, step into the Akashic, and hear the beautiful vibration of Sanskrit. And then bring it back using your throat chakra as a conduit. And I've yet to hear of anyone who's done that so far, though I'm sure there's probably a fantastic group of people who have actually done just that. Let's go find them. Why don't you find them? Sound is important. Vibration is important. Yeah, that's right. It's not like that. There's a science behind it. Not even Sanskrit is you take me up, we can talk. About Sanskrit has pronunciation in it. Yes, that's right. It does. It totally does. But I'm more interested in saying it and saying it 1,000 times in a day than myself looking and analyzing and my pronunciation. It's just like if I spoke Chinese. My pronunciation is not going to be correct. If I pronounce, when I hear Americans speaking French, I don't tell them that they're not saying it correctly. I'm actually listening actively to make sure and congratulating them on their attempt to speak French. You see? So in a way, that's very French of you to say that was not pronounced correctly. Because I've actually had Hindus, because I've gone to temples all over the world, who have told me that my pronunciation of many of the things are actually very Hindu in quality. But again, there is a science to Sanskrit. It is a mathematical language. That's why NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory uses it as a coding mechanism for AI and also other computers. And so, of course, there's a science to it. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but I'm like annoyed because the conversation is about separation and self-loathing, not about Sanskrit. Now, if you'd like to message me and have a conversation about Sanskrit, we can have one later. But my life is not to be controlled by others. I will do the themes when I want to do them. Now, if you're offering to talk about Sanskrit at a later live, at one that we can actually put together, absolutely open to it. But today, we're talking about real shit, my friend. And the real shit is, how do you control your monkey mind? How do you teach your twin not to fucking self-destruct by saying Om? And if you don't like how I say it, I'm sorry. But I'm not here to kiss your butt or to actually, cater to your ideas of how something should sound. But not the psychology of someone who's on the brink of taking themselves out of this planet. I don't think you're getting what I'm talking about. And you're not getting the severity of what I'm talking about. But you want to split hairs on how to say Om. Okay. All right. That's the problem in the spiritual community. They fucking totally focus on the wrong shit. First, let's get people to say Om in the first fucking place. Let's get people to say Om Namah Shivaya in the first fucking place for 1,000 times in a day. Let's get the populace to say it, and then we can go back and split hairs on how do you say Om. Let's deconstruct Om and the science of Om. Does that make sense? So, let me see. No, it's not that I'm looking at, but you have to understand that you're bringing up the wrong. This is like walking in a cocktail party and they're talking about art, because it's an art show, and you walk in and in the middle of a conversation talking about cryptocurrency and the trading of blockchain and how blockchain works. In the middle of a cocktail party where they're actually talking about art and 18th century and Van Gogh and why art had an impressionistic movement, and suddenly, boom, you walk in crypto. And in a way, it's like not reading the room. But you have to understand that the problem with the spiritual community is that they spend so much time, like one of the toxic things the spiritual community talks about is how your bank account is a reflection of how you see yourself. That is bullshit shaming. The bank account, and I'm going off on a tangent to come back to this, the bank account is of how to change a consciousness that then is reflected well in a bank account. Does that make sense? So the first thing we have to do is stop judging people and ask these people to just get the work done, do the work, do things that were written 10,000 years ago by incredible sages. Let's learn that concept, and then we can refine it later. Perfectionism is not important if a person is bereft, lost, depressed, going through the dark night of the soul. That's what I mean by that. And I'm always in a Kali energy anyway, just so you know. And so the most important thing, because we have people literally taking themselves out of this planet. They're harming themselves. And they have no idea how to fucking calm the monkey mind. And mantras as the most important thing a person can do right away, like right the fuck away. Learn this mantra, great. 3 words, great. What do I do? This is what you do. And I'm not going to start telling them how to pronounce it. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it again and again. I can tell clients who've done mantras because when they repeat it back to me, it just flows out of their mouth. They have refined it. Does that make sense? So it's very important that we focus on the right things, not how do you pronounce the mantra. Eventually you learn. You learn because you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, like the Gayatri mantra. That's a very hard mantra to pronounce correctly. But you know what? I'm not going to dissuade someone from not doing it because they stumble on one word or another. That's not the point of this. The point of it is to do it and to flow with it until one day you're getting such upgraded light codes that you're pronouncing it. But the irony of what you said was kind of funny to me. So, and threw me off the track, actually. But it's okay. It's all good. This is just such a perfect 3D example, and let's put love to the misunderstanding. Logic cannot rule love. So, I'm not dropping anyone. I'm just not going to go back and forth. So if you don't mind, I'm going to continue with the talk on why twin flames run and why the self-loathing and the root chakra is so an integral part of it. And why a twin flame needs to, like a twin flame runner who's in 3D needs to get to 40. 40 means they need to know what chakras are, why they're important, how they work. Things of that nature are super important. And as your twin runner, who's probably in 4D but still vacillating, they have 1 foot in 3D. And I know this because they're in fear, and that's 3D. And the 4D is they know a lot of stuff, but still they don't have enough self-confidence. So the mantras are going to train the monkey mind to stop. Does that make sense? And that's going to be very important. Does that make sense? There didn't appear to be sufficient love to fill the void. His root program is fear. No, I mean, Jeannie, can you, if you want to schedule to do a talk on Sanskrit, you know, like you can message me, but I'm not going to keep going back and forth because that's not what the life today is for. I really have to know you. I never just bring people on these lives. Never. And you must know that. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you don't. But I never bring people I don't know on lives. Why? Because I've done it once before. Once. and the chick was fucking knitting and saying the stupidest shit. So now I don't fucking do that shit. I'm sorry. I don't have time to cater to people who I don't know. Now, if you want to be a guest and you want to talk to me about what your premise is and what you want to teach and how you want, I'll be happy to invite you. Are you kidding? Totally. And I'll promote it. I don't promote my lives, but when there's a guest, I promote it. And then I'll upload it to YouTube and people can learn. But do you understand? So if you're a Sanskrit scholar and you've studied Sanskrit and that's your thing, that's your passion, and you have a love for it and you really want to teach people, then I'm inviting you to come on a live. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. So there's a way for you to message me. It's all good. So if that makes sense. Okay, so holding space for all of our beautiful people here. Let's pivot in love. It's all great convo. Yeah, well, but the thing is, I'm talking about a subject. So, Jeannie, can you please listen to the subject? Okay? Because the subject is very important to me. Because I'm trying to get twin flames in union, as many as possible. And I'm trying to get twin flames into twin ray frequency. So it doesn't matter what religion Jeannie is. It doesn't matter to me at all. It doesn't matter to me at all. I don't care, because we've been all religions, so it's not a this or that or the other. But I can tell you that I've been in temples chanting, and anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, let's talk about what we were talking about. What were we talking about that was important? What was important to this subject? Because we can move into a Sanskrit lesson if you guys want, and you can let me know if you want to do that. I think it's a good idea, to be honest with you, but I don't want to freak people out, because people, let me give you an understanding. When I teach mantras to Sanskrit mantras to clients, they are Muslim and Jewish and Christian, and they are afraid that they're doing something against their religion. Not against their God, because there's only one God, but okay. But against their religion. And so my job is to make sure that they are comfortable with the simplest of mantras so that they can actually control their monkey mind. The medicine needs to be simple. And the pronunciation of Om is, everyone does it differently. But what's more important than anything is the intention. And that's it. And I've been in temples and I've heard Om said by Sanskrit scholars in different ways. All different. Sanskrit scholar, just saying. Basic creation frequencies omitted, so let's at least make that first. All other words are words not Om. Never fear. So true. All right, anyway, DM runners, fear is where we are, where we, an inner child, we wouldn't leave a child in need. Exactly. And so the problem with the twin, and the problem with what you're listening to with regarding twin flame runners is that the root chakra was hijacked a long, long time ago. Because when you incarnate, whatever happened to you previous would have given you, because we're our own worst judge. We're the ones who judge ourselves when we die. When we drop our bodies, we do the life review, blah, blah, blah. All of that, that's like established, right? No one's going to argue that point, I hope. And so you're in the life review, and you're just like, and depending on how you died in a past life, if it was traumatic or whatever. And what I mean by traumatic is what's happening to the people in the Palestinian people. The way they're dropping their bodies is massively traumatic. You can understand that. I mean, you're seeing it. And so what will that do when they incarnate? Because you've got fear, shock, feeling of betrayal, what have I done, and rage. And so in some cases, rage. That frequency match will put you in an incarnation with people who may harm you again. because it's a low vibrational. This is why in certain temples, in the Vedic tradition, on the purest level, before you make love, when you know you want to conceive, you meditate to attract a high vibrational soul. You don't just have sex and whatever comes in, comes in. You actually meditate. This is one of the things my twin told me when I was 18. I'll never forget that. I thought it was amazing. And he said, we will meditate and we will bring in a high vibrational soul when we make love, when we conceive. That was one of the things he told me when we met. And that is true. Consciously bringing in a soul to come through as, and you're the conduit to this incarnation for them. In other words, they're coming in through you. And the soul attracted, because there's souls that are like, kind of jostling and shoving each other over, trying to see which family should I get. Some of you, there was only you. Okay, there were no other souls contending for that position. And in some cases, as you can imagine twin rays bringing a soul. There's going to be a lot of souls contending for that. It's kind of like, a bidding war, if you will. I'm just kidding. But so the soul that you're attracting, if you're consciously meditating before you make love and doing whatever you need to do to ensure that what you're going to conceive, what you're going to bring in is going to be a beautiful high vibrational soul, is a real thing. So and again, root chakra, right? Everything's root chakra. I don't know why we have been so hell-bent on forgetting. I have Hindu clients. They know mantras. They've been taught mantras since they could speak. And they make the mistake of working on only their heart chakra and the above chakras. That's a massive mistake. Massive. Why do I know that? Because I've been Hindu in past lives. I remember them. You see? And I know that we were always working on all our chakras, crown to root or root to crown, always spending more time. Like today, I spent a lot of time on my root chakra because you guys who know what I'm dealing with, a massive loss. So clearly, without having, to check on I knew it needed more care, right? And so one of the ways that people have a challenge, especially your twin runner, is that their monkey mind is constantly, it's like a hot breath on their neck of negativity. And so if they were always going through the mantra, if that was their second, like their automatic pilot to do, right? They would be able to move out of this consciousness and eventually literally cut synapses of these negative, horrible beatings that they're getting in their heads and move into a more neutral zone and eventually, like I said to you before in many lives, sometimes I wake up, and this is years of doing this, okay? I wake up with all these divine messages, I'm having Earl Grey tea with cream, which is one of my sins, my sinful drinks, because of the cream. But I'm looking to go back into veganism because it's the only way to roll. But anyway, so that's why my throat is like, ugh. Thank you for speaking your truth and not breezing over something that is important. Yes, twins, Om. Yes, Om, that's right. So I love chai. So do I, actually. I love chai too. People want the higher without foundation and end up in danger. There's no danger, Jeannie. See, this is no offense. Okay, I'm not going to say you. There's a lot of spiritualists, and I say this with no respect, who always claim there's danger. Let me tell you what danger is. Danger is doing blood sacrifices. That's fucking dangerous. Danger is doing all kinds of weird rituals, love spells. That's fucking dangerous. And I've told this to many other lives, but I'm going to bring it up again. That's dangerous. But saying Om in a way that is not comfortable to you and doesn't sound good to you is not dangerous, because the attention and the vibration from this particular throat chakra is true. It's coming from a true heart. That's what's important. Dangerous, because there are mantras for everything. Dangerous is trying to manipulate someone's free will, even if it's destructive. You cannot fucking do that. You won't get away with it. The boomerang of karma will be fierce and fast. I've seen it with my clients. I've had clients going, well, when's the karma? Oh, honey, you got front row seats. Watch it come. It's coming. And sure enough, they're like, holy fuck, yeah, that's how karma is in the 21st century. There's no danger of doing anything. There's no danger in doing a sigil. There's no danger in a sigil because it's a vibrational intention of a symbol that means something that's connected to love, abundance, or health, or something of that nature. What is dangerous is when you try to subjugate people, harm people, and we're seeing the result, the final push of the 1% doing their fuckery, and they're actually in danger because you can't get away with that shit anymore. Not in the consciousness of the awakening of the masses. That's happening. So there's no danger. Let's not start using fear again to control people, to try to convince them that only you have the answer. That's bullshit, and that's manipulation. I certainly don't have all the answers. The more I know, the less I know. Okay? But I can tell you, danger is what I just mentioned. And love and being in the light of love, in being in excavating self-unconditional divine love for yourself and for your twin, whether they're with you or not. There's no danger in that. There's no danger in mispronouncing a mantra. You're talking about witchcraft. Oh no, here I wanted to turn it into a frog and now it's a lamp. It's movie shit. There's no danger in mispronouncing anything if you're pronouncing it with the intention of a full open heart. And eventually you'll get into the rhythm of whatever language you're repeating. It could be ancient Latin, it could be Greek, it could be Sanskrit, it could be Aramaic. The Passion of the Christ. If you guys have never seen that movie, watch it. But wasn't there something incredible about listening to Aramaic? When you repeat a mantra, eventually you'll know how to pronounce it. And somebody else may say, well, Deva Premal doesn't pronounce it correctly. Yeah, but her heart's fucking in it. And I love to hear Deva Premal do Sanskrit mantras. I love it. There are actually, no offense, people who are native of the land and I don't like the sound of their voice. It's too nasal. There's something about the Western voice, I'm going to be very blunt, that does mantras and chanting and singing and kirtan that sometimes, and I'm wondering if it isn't because the devotion, do you understand, to incarnate from India many, many times and then to be in the Western world and to rub the sleep from your eyes and then to suddenly chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, and then to say it again and again until you start sobbing in joy. That is more important than did I say Hari correctly. Does that make sense? And that's what we need to understand. And to say it is dangerous not to do this and this is very authoritarian, and it is fear-mongering, and there's no place for that. If you walk with your heart, and your heart is intense on purity, on being pure in divine love, in obeisances to God, the universe, with a full open heart, grateful for this incarnation, grateful to be on Pachamama, Bhumi, Gaia, you will not be in danger. Okay? I don't want to ever hear that, because it's wrong. And this is where the spiritual community keeps fucking up and stepping into dog shit. Because they keep acting like, well, if you don't do it this way, you'll be in danger, you'll go down the wrong way. When you drop your body, you'll be lost in the mire. No, because if you die with love in your heart, you will go right where source is. If you die clawing and begging and in fear, and meanwhile all the people around you are, oh, please don't leave, oh my God. Yeah, it's not going to be a pretty death. There is no danger if love is in your heart. None. Zero. Ever. You are divinely protected. And that is a truth that I hope I've really brought to you, Jeannie. I hope you understand that. Okay? Because that is a trap. With all due respect, your other chakras can be balanced and the root be completely stagnant. I'm going to tell you something about what I do, okay? And this is not me being bragging. I just, because it has nothing to do with that, because it's just action reaction. It's just common sense. So I'm going to tell you the story. I lived in Malibu with my twin. And we used to run on the beach every day. I would work on my chakras every day. Every day I'd go swimming, water everywhere, chanting my mantra, Hare Krishna, by the way, every day. And one day I was invited to a psychic fair to read for people. And this gentleman saw me reading and loved how I read. So he said to me, I'd like to trade. I'd like to do a chart of your chakras. I'd like to, scan your chakras. That's how he put it. And I said, well, okay. So I put there was a system where you put your palm on this scanner, which scan your chakras, right? All my chakras were in perfect order, completely aligned straight up and down, all of them ignited, all of them the right size. And people started gathering around the table going, I've never seen that. Now, I thought they were full of shit, to be honest. I do have some cynicism. I do, unfortunately. I said, sure, Prince Alan. As the day progressed into the night, I saw people with that same chart, and that chart showed me the following. I saw one man, and it really gave me the creeps. His whole page was red with the root chakra, red, completely red. I had people coming into my booth to do a reading, and their chakra was left, right, all over the place, some non-existent. Non-existent. That fucking little machine had actually scanned chakras, including mine. And mine was in alignment because it's really basic. If you don't take a shower for 7 to 10 days, you stink. If you take a shower every day, you're probably going to smell good. I was working on my chakras every day. I still to this day do it. And my chakras were pretty aligned. I mean, they were perfect because I was doing the work. It's not because I'm walking on water. It's like if you take a shower every day, you smell good. If you don't, you're going to stink. It's basic. It's just basic common sense. It had nothing to do with, oh my God, Tony's like elevated. And she's like, no. It was like anybody could do it. Any fucking body could do it. And the problem was that, unfortunately, all of the people, they weren't doing it. That's all. They weren't doing it. And what happens when you work on your chakras, you clear and charge them and so forth, is that you're going to get somatic purging. Some of it, you'll start crying. And I don't know, why am I crying? Well, because you're purging some somatic, you're having a somatic release. It's so intense that there are no words for it, no images that the soul can give you. So the body, that's why combo is so good. Combo, somatic healing, right? So when we look at how the spiritual community, the New Age, we're going to call it the New Age community, as I kind of like, not a put down, but as a warning, like red flag, New Age, oh shit, because we're more interested in ancient wisdoms, things that the Native Americans knew inherently, things that some parts of African people, certain villages have had connections with aliens and Anunnakis and so forth, inherently not only knew, but experienced. I mean, fuck, they knew planets that we just discovered in the 21st century. How in the fuck did they know that? But they did. The Druids, the Celtics knew. And other peoples, cultures knew. And we've forgotten so much shit. And it's all ancient wisdom. And so we need to kind of realize that all we're doing right now as individually and as a people is we're just reclaiming all of the things we've forgotten over the ages. This is why, for example, soul retrieval guided meditation is good for you. And I have it on YouTube if you want, but I mean, whatever, just YouTube, soul guided meditation, find one that you like. And then do it. Because it's a real problem. Because some of our endings were so traumatic, so sudden, so what the fuck, And unfortunately, there was a grape, since I have to use a fruit to describe something that horrific. Grape was done before a person passed on. Root chakra trauma, massive, okay? And so when you do a guided soul retrieval meditation, there might have been a piece of you left behind, because the soul just couldn't, do you understand? It split, it fragmented, right? That's why we are multidimensional light beings. But the shadow part is, It can fragment into different incarnations that where the endings were fucking beyond belief traumatic, which we're seeing with what's happening to the people in Palestine, the Palestinian people. And other peoples, Sudan, Congo, Rwanda, Serbia, World War II, the list goes on. What we've done, Wounded Knee, the Trail of Tears, slavery in America, slavery throughout the ancient world with Rome. In other words, and then the conquerings and the pillagings of the Vikings. It just goes on and on. We have had a history that has actually fucked our root chakra for millions of years. And in some case, because we also had to deal with it in other planets where Geno was happening. We have, as starseeds, some of us miss our homes, that we will never see those homes again. Luc Besson, the director, Luc, L-U-C, Besson, B-E-S-S-O-N, just did a movie called, I'm trying to remember, but it's his latest movie. Go check it out. It's not The Fifth Element. It's another movie he just made in the last 2 years. Incredible. Because it's about a Geno that happens, and they're able to actually reconstruct their planet. After, say, 1,000 years of being homeless, if you will, without a planet. Go check that movie out by Luc. Look up director Luc Besson, L-U-C-B-E-S-S-O-N. Check out that movie, because that totally resonated with me. Oh my God, I was like, yes. So in a way, Luc Besson was saying it's possible. He's the guy who did The Professional. He's the guy who did Fifth Element. He's the guy who directed, what was that? Joan of Arc. Joan of Arc. There's something very interesting about him. He was, not to go off on a tangent, but what's interesting is he was raised by his parents who were divers. They were professional divers. So he had a connection with the ocean, and there's something very spiritual. I don't know if you guys have ever body surfed or surfed, but you go into the ocean, you go underneath, and it's another world. It's very zen. It's very calming. The ocean, not the swimming pool, the ocean. There's something about going underneath and looking through the veneer of this incredible glimmering of the surface of the water, and you're underneath the waves and you're looking at the sky. It's amazing. And so that was his life, and he grew up he's a very interesting man, very, very interesting man. Check out some of his movies. They're very healing. What practice can you offer for root chakra balancing? All you do is, it's very simple. All you do is you clean it. It's got to be clockwise. Clock meaning so you are the clock. That means that underneath your chin, if you put your finger underneath your chin, that's 12. You turn your finger right to the left, that's 3. You turn your finger down to your belly button, that's 6. You turn your finger to the right, that's 9, right? So clockwise, you are the clock. Don't confuse it, because you do not do counterclockwise unless there are 2 reasons. Somebody's dying, and they tell you, I'm ready to drop my body, and you work with them on counterclockwise. You're unlocking them out of the body. Does that make sense? The second reason is you have so much fucking trauma that you want to do a quick counterclockwise, and then the rest of the time you're doing clockwise. It's almost like a safety, like a bank vault, when you turn the back and forth, but you do it once and then boom. And so you just turn it clockwise, and you visualize, if you can, red. But if you don't see red glimmering and shimmering and coming into play, then if you see another color, that is happening where people are seeing teal edged with red. That is not bad, as long as there's absolutely no gunk, darkness, gray, brown. None of that should be there. So you do it until you feel it. And you can also do it with your sage, levitating your sage over your root chakra. You can also do it with doing that and adding a mantra. So as you're cleaning your chakra, your root, and this goes with all your chakras, but with the root chakra, you would do your mantra, whatever mantra would help you, like Om Shanti Shanti, Om Shanti Shanti, Om. And I typically do at least 3 times. I've done Hare Krishna on my chakras. I've done Kali Kai Ye Namaha on my Om Kali Kai Ye Namaha on my chakras. Om Shanti Shanti. Om Shrim Rim Klim Lakshmi Swaha. I've done all kinds of mantras on all my chakras. Typically 3 times. Typically. But if you can't and you're in a hurry, let's say you're like, I just finished my meditation, I'm going to do my chakras real quick. Or typically I tell people, do your chakras work, then go into meditation. Also, one of the best things is to do it while you're in bed. Because if you're really pressed for time and you're hitting the snooze button, the best thing you can do is just go ahead. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's another thing I do on my chakras. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Each chakra gets a gratitude pull. And then suddenly the vibrations of my chakras have been coded to be grateful for my day. And then I go into meditation and I do another chakra clearing and cleaning. You can't over clean. It's like washing your hands all day. At some point, if people didn't wash their hands, they would have grimy, dirty hands. So you're going to wash your hands in the morning. You might wash your hand in the afternoon. Wash your hands again. In a way, that's what you do. You just clear your chakras. You'll feel triggered, unhappy. Suddenly your monkey mind will start slaying you with unbelievable. You're like, where the hell did that come from? Sometimes, by the way, on the side note, where the hell did that thought come from? Sometimes it's not even yours, it's your twin. You're actually picking up the vibration of your twin. And so when you know that, you say, whatever your twin's name is, I'm going to heal us for that. And you're going to do a mantra for that, to clear that energy right off the bat. Also, you can work on your chakras, right? And then put your twin, let's say your twin's not with you, you're in separation. Sit your twin across from you, to the left or to the right with you. However you can figure out the clockwise motion. I don't want you to fuck this up. And then you work on their chakras from root to crown. And they're naked. I always had my twin naked because I knew at that point I could see every nuance of his flesh and then go in his chakras and work on his chakras remotely. I did that again and again. Chakra work is one of the most, besides mantra, chanting your mantras, chakra work is probably as important as mantra. Mantra is the medicine. Daily medicine, free access all day long. Chakra is when you can have at least, 3-4 minutes, 5 minutes. It's not a lot of investment of time, but boy, the benefits are unbelievable. No, it's not Reiki. No, I wouldn't say Reiki, because Reiki, let me read this. I'll go right back to it. Let me answer your question. Hang on. It's my profession. The goal is to balance them all, but many can be highly attuned in the third eye, but their root needs work. I go to the beach all the time to ground and get peace of mind. Beautiful. You mean Reiki kind of method. I know it, and cleansing is not balancing, not elevating. What do you mean cleansing is not balancing? Okay, let me ask you this. My floor is dirty. My floor is absolutely filthy. I bought a beautiful Persian carpet. Am I actually going to put the Persian carpet onto my dirty floor, or will I clean my floor first and then activate my room with beauty by putting my carpet down? Like, do you understand that you better clear your chakras and clean them before you can do anything else? Does that make sense? And you better make sure your chakras are clean before you can do anything else. Om starts from root and end up in crown if you observe by technically right utterance. Okay, whatever. You can do it from root to crown or crown to root. I typically do from root to crown. Personally, me. This is what I do because I know that's what I need to do. But when I do guided meditations for clients, or when I do hypnotherapy, past lives, I always start with the crown. Because we're doing a past life regression. Does that make sense? So right off the bat, I'm going straight to source. I want to connect with source and then go from there. And I won't bore you with what I do because, that's not the point of it here. It's all mucky. It will be clean and activated, or else it's all mucky. Yeah, you can explain the clearing one more time, please. I don't have to. I don't have to really do it again because it's really let me ask you, what exactly would you like me to explain? The cleaning? You don't stop turning your chakras. Oh, I see what you're asking. Okay, thank you. I needed to visualize what you were asking. You're asking, how do you know? Okay, so you turn your chakras clockwise, and typically root chakra is what? It's red, right? That's what it's known as, red. So typically you're probably not going to even see your red coming up. But you need to be patient and let it surface. And you may see dirt or muddiness. If the red is muddied or covered over or fuzzy or whatever, keep going. You're not done until you see something emanating that is glimmering and shimmering. Then you can move on to the sacral, and then to the hara, and then to the solar, and then to the heart chakra, and then to the high heart, throat chakra, third eye, crown. You can't do from crown to root. I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna move on. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. The root chakra in this particular, if that's what you want to do is root chakra, there's no wrong way to do it. It's what you're guided to feel to do it. I personally train all my clients to do root to crown. But like I said, when I do hypnotherapy, past life regression, it's going to be source energy. Doesn't that make sense to you? What? I don't understand why that's a question. I don't get it. It's source energy. You're about to go into past life regression. It's not coming from between your legs. It's coming from above your crown. It's going from source downwards so that you can actually receive the downloads you need to go into the journey of hypnotherapy, past life regression. And then you get tethered and grounded to the into Bhumi, Gaia, Mother Earth. There's a process. And again, I really don't want to tell people they're doing it wrong. Because my most important thing for me is, are you doing it? Are you fucking attempting to do energy work? Yes, good. And then you gently direct them into, you may want to try it this way. Tell me how that feels if you do it this way. You know what I mean? But to just say that's not the right thing to do, you're going to have to ask yourself where this idea of rules came from. Who does it belong to? In other words, how many past lives were you where there was only one right way to do something? That's my question to you. There's an old saying, all roads lead to Rome, which meant because Rome owned everything, up into North Africa, all of Europe into North Africa, Ireland as well. So that's why it was all roads lead to Rome. And all roads lead to God. Like, I would never tell a devout Catholic that the way they love God is wrong. I would ask them, would you consider doing chakra work? Would you consider doing mantra work? You still love Yeshua. You still love Mary Magdalene. You still love Mother Mary. You still love Jesus. But I would never tell them that that's not the road to God or ascension. Never, never. Because if their heart is pure and they're in this place of devoutness, like Mel Gibson is a devout Catholic. Some of it is very patriarchal, but you know what? His heart's in the right place, in my humble opinion. Okay? And he is definitely ascending. He has done massive service to the collective. He's been dark, he's been light, and he's been unhinged. But you know what? I think I would rather be with a man like that, who's unhinged and is fighting and raging against the machine, than somebody who's supplicant to any rule and becomes a cult, like Jim Jones and so forth. That's not the road to God. Any cult, like Osho, everyone quotes Osho. The guy was a fucking cultist. It was a sex cult. And it was fucked up. Because he had everyone give up all their possessions while he owned like something like 37 Rolls Royces or something like that. One was gold-plated. I kid you not. I hate Osho. Not hate. I turn my back to Osho. It's a better way to put it. So my point to you is like, let's be careful about that's not the right way. There's a right way to do it. No, because I would never do Catholic, how do you put it? Rituals that are Catholic, from Catholic religions or Jewish religions or Muslim religions. I wouldn't do any of those rituals, but I would certainly not tell someone that that's not the right way to do it to get to God. Who am I to fucking say that to someone? No fucking way. My job is to respect that person's point of view and their religious beliefs and add a little more nectar to that journey so that their monkey mind doesn't slay them into not believing when they drop their bodies that they're not worthy of being in a heavenly planet. In other words, they might actually say to themselves, I'm not worthy not to be back in 3D. And my job is to make sure, oh no, you're worthy. You're worthy not to come back to this planet in 3D. Come back when it's 5D. You see what I'm saying? But let's try not to be so, what's the word? Perfectionist on all moves that we end up doing nothing. See, I'm going to tell you something that's very important, and you need to hear this, Jeannie. Many people don't do half the shit they could do because they're afraid of fucking up. They're afraid of doing it wrong. Hence, they do nothing. I don't care if it's writing a novel, writing a piece of music, public speaking, painting, creating new ways of creating new architecture, new dwellings. Because of this thought pattern of there's only one right way. No, there isn't. Because originators of new concepts need to originate. That means they have to machete through old brain synapses and go, okay, clearing, great, let me build something that's never been built before. That takes massive courage. And there is no right way to do it. To originate a new concept is something where there are no rules to how it's done. Because you're originating a concept. So the problem that we're having with starseeds across the planet is that they will not step up to speak their voice, to speak their truth, to express themselves in whatever way they want. Because they're, no offense, people like you saying that's the way to do it. There's only one way. That's no offense, bullshit. It's toxic bullshit. And so when you say that, I see the pain in your own heart. Because you think you have to present yourself in a certain way for it to be powerful, meaningful, and helpful to the collective and to yourself. And that's not it. So you may want to look back in past lives and go, where did I get this idea? Like, where did it come from? Was I a monk? Was I a Capuchin monk in a monastery making, tending to the gardens and being forced on water fasts and, because believe me, you may be Muslim in this incarnation, but you weren't before. And so you have to look at all of this and go, where are my thought patterns coming from? Who gave them to me? Are they mine, or are they some scars from past lives? That is really important because, frankly, right now we've got starseeds that are fucking brilliant. They're in bodies, they're 19-year-old bodies, 25-year-old bodies, and they think that because they look in the mirror and there's this beautiful little young, pretty face or handsome face, that they're not ready because they're in a young body. Youth does not mean that they're not wise. You have to understand that the soul encased in these bodies are older than mine probably and yours. And these poor kids, I'm calling them kids, these massive, powerful souls encased in these young bodies are like hesitating on releasing their power to the world, even though they've forgotten that they are the messengers of God to make the massive changes we're all begging for. We've all begged for it for centuries. Because people are saying, that's not the way you do it. Really? Well, see, the way we've done it so far has created the plan we have right now, and it's a fucking shit show. So let's stop that. As long as your heart is in the right place and you really do it from love, from a place of love, there is no wrong way. There's no wrong way to do anything. None. Nothing. The New Age movement was created by Louise Hay in New York City in the late 60s, early 70s. Without her, we wouldn't have what we have today. Because see, all this self-help book before was how to get rich, not how to get healed. Just, in case you guys are, well, there were books on how to get rich, not how to heal. Big difference. Louise Hay was an incredible force. Had she listened to and she was a woman during a time when she couldn't even apply for a credit card, much less a mortgage. Imagine that. Imagining her originating the concept of self-help. Can you imagine if she had listened to those rules of engagement? Well, we would have lost Louise Hay. How many Louise Hays and Deepak Chopras and Dr. Joe Dispenzas are we losing because we are literally telling people, specifically these starseeds who are irreverent, don't give a shit, kicking down doors. Some of them are doing it, and we are attacking them. We're attacking them. And then there's these other starseeds sitting mute on the sidelines like wallflowers going, I don't know, man. Maybe I'll fuck up. I'll do it wrong. Massive loss. Massive loss. And we don't have time for that shit at all. None. Let me see, what else? No one has that right. It's pretentious. I hope you mean yes. Yes, Billy. That's my point. We need innovators. I'm almost like fucking. I want to cry. We need innovating voices. We need other solutions. We have populations of Asperger kids, right? Asperger's. They see the world in ways we can't fathom. Einstein was autistic. He was Asperger's. He dreamed EMC squared. Dreamed the motherfucking equation. Okay? So yeah. There are no rules as long as your heart is there. As long as your heart is good. Hello, dear. I'm looking to speak with you directly. Which elements am I best to select? Go to my website on my Linktree, my website, and fill out my intake form, and I'll get back to you. Leave me your phone number. Okay? And if you're outside the country, I use WhatsApp to communicate to people abroad. So make sure you give me your country code if you don't mind. I'd be loved to. Katie, beautiful. Link to her website in her bio. Oh, thank you, Letty. It's scary to voice it in the face of a rule set. It's scary but necessary. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate you. Yes, makes sense. My twin is 14 years younger than me. Go to her bio and click the link. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rachel. There were a few options. I picked one and sent a request. Oh, fantastic. I'll get back to you today. I promise. Schizophrenia is spiritual automatically. It can be thought of as, in fact, there are books written by psychologists who talk about how the ancient, you know, some of these ideas of schizophrenia is shamanism. You know, because you have to understand, in the 1950s, they were lobotomizing us, electric shock treatment, which is still done in some places, because all you saw was that you heard things. Can you imagine if Joan of Arc had been born in the 1940s or what they would have done to her? Oh, she would have been in a funny farm, and they would have lobotomized her and done all kinds of harm to her. I mean, just all kinds. Can you imagine? And yet Joan of Arc was able to, and I said it in a few lives, so yeah, just be patient with me. I love this about Joan of Arc. I loved her when I was a little girl. But what fascinated me about Joan of Arc is here's a slip of a girl, a little teenage girl, having these downloads of voices of God saying, you can marshal your marshal an army. What the fuck, an army? And they will follow you. That's exactly what she did. And these are guys that were warriors. Old men, young men followed her into battle. She did it. So we have these starseeds like the Joan of Arcs of the world, the Yeshuas of the world. They're here. You know, there's an old saying that said from the Bible, it says, I came as a lamb, I will return as a lion. I told Andromeda Flame, he's not coming back as a lion in a physical way. We are fragments of him. We are lions. We've come back as his messenger, as his conduit. All of us have a piece of Yeshua, and we are the lions. And we've returned as lions. But can you imagine what they would have done to Joan of Arc? Sometimes just ask yourself today, the Savior's coming to say, these Christian coalition Bible thought. If that guy came back like he was, how he looked 2,000 years ago, the shit they would do to that man and harm him. Let's be honest, okay? You think he's coming back in the physical? No, we are his messengers. We are his conduit. I firmly believe that because many of you have been activated in that. You see Yeshua and you see Mary Magdalene. Many of you are linked to Mary Magdalene. It's because of that. You are a lion. You are the messenger. And so we have starseeds like Joan of Arc, right, who have been muzzled, have been spiritually muzzled through pharma, for example. So we really need to look and what is the word? Recognize these young starseeds, like recognize them and give them nectar. Talk to them, give them nectar. Give them your wisdom, give them your encouragement, give them a book, give them 2 books. Fucking maybe have a few books in your car to give to someone you might come across. Important books. I have a book that I bought 5 copies of. It's called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran. Because to me, that's a primer. It's like, primers, like when you learn how to read. This is how to learn how to read spirituality and parables. It's perfect. It's a primer. And I give these books, like I gave it to my hospice nurse. I gave a copy to his masseuse. In other words, my bank manager. because it doesn't matter if they don't read it. It's in there. The essence of that book is now in their library. And there was somebody, and I wish I could give credit. Somebody said, some of the books you buy, it shouldn't matter. You don't have to read them all. Just put them in your shelf. The vibration of the titles, the vibration of the content adds a quality, a frequency of abundance and enlightenment in your house just by being on your shelf. I never heard that before. I thought that was brilliant. I wish to God I could give credit. So what else? So many have been taught to disbelieve the prophet. Oh yeah, I read it several times. I'm going to read it. Good for you. Exactly, Billy. I have to run. Been amazing listening to you as always. Thank you, my love. I wonder if I shared sun and moon are why this is resonating so strongly. No, because truth is truth. It has nothing to do with what I have or what you have. It has to do with, it resonates because it's true. Truth is mathematical. 2 + 2 = 4. At least in 3D, that's a truth. In 3D, we can agree that it's 4. And so when you hear a truth, remember, it's not a connection with me so much as a connection with source. You know what I mean? Source is channeling through me, but most importantly, it's channeling through you as well, simultaneously, and you're hearing truth, and it feels good. It feels right, and that's what you're feeling. Does that make sense? So that's why it resonates. And so again, like, connect with your heart and understand how it feels. In other words, put your hands over your heart when you're hearing somebody like me talk, or you're getting a download, and feel it. Does that feel right? Yes, it does. Why? Well, my heart feels light. Oh, good. My body tingles. I got to chill. Wow. Then it's truth, isn't it? It's not my truth. It's not your truth. It's truth. Universal galactic truth. Yeah? So that's what that's about. Yeah. Oh, that's so sweet. I'm sensitive to truth. That's why I'm here. I'm so honored. My first time hearing you, I cried. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, that's insane. That's so... Anyway, thank you. You move me. Thank you. That's very sweet of you. So I'm going to go ahead and pull an oracle card for you guys. 15 people, the magician. And you know the drill. I need you guys to ask power for guidance. What is your message? Personal message. Because this will be... If you're here, this is for you. Or else you wouldn't be here. That means even if you listen to this on the re-recording that I'm going to pull up, because I'll pull this up on my YouTube channel. If you're hearing this, it's yours. So I want you guys to focus. What is the message? And when you're ready, pick top, bottom, or middle, and then I'll read you the oracle reading, the oracle card, okay? When you're ready. Middle. Okay, majority wins. Middle. Top, middle, okay, middle. I'm going with middle. Awesome. Okay, this is 29. 29 in Kabbalah numerology is 11. It's a very heavy karmic number. It's 11 because it's the muzzle lion. But it's called, so 29, it's a very, again, this deck is called Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild. I can't say enough about this oracle creator. This is called 29 Nana Buluku. She rests to create. So some of you are going through stagnation. Now, I'm a writer, okay? And so the way the writer works is that you may actually sit on an idea or the nucleus, the seed of a book, for example, for 5-10 years. And then suddenly it's time. The portals have opened, they're flung open, and you sit and you write, 6 to 12 hour days for 6 to 7 weeks to 12 weeks. And now you have a novel. And now it's time to... That's how things are. She rests to create. So you may think that you're in stagnation, but you're not. You're resting. You're sleeping. The divine sleep, the rest. The pause button is on. So you can get the downloads, the upgrades, the light code upgrades to create. Because you might need to be upgraded before you can create. So let's look at 29. And let me read it to you in a minute. Hang on. Bear with me here. And then I'll tell you the page, because everything to me matters. All the little nuances matter to me. So it's page 145, which is 10, which is... So the word, the number 10 is the wheel of fortune, which goes to the single compound number 1, which is the sun. Okay, let's begin. 29, Nana Buluka, she rests to create. Your energy is a precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance, amplify, and replenish it. Give yourself sufficient rest, and you shall find the way forward more effortlessly. Explore the lifestyle that grows your inner resources rather than requiring constant exertion and exhaustion to accomplish an endless list of external pursuits. You need this shift in being now because you are ready to accomplish more. Did you guys hear that? Wow. For this to take place, there needs to be less effort and more wisdom, trust, and value what you can be achieved through rest. I'm getting hammock images. Like, my favorite thing in the world is to be in a hammock and looking up through trees or sky. Oh my God. If you don't have a hammock, fucking get a hammock. Okay? So let's continue. In a reading, you are more than enough energy to bring the sacred visions held within your heart to life. An increase of energy and peacefulness is indicated. You are guided to choose high energy people, places, and purposes. High energy does not necessarily mean that which is highly stimulating, but rather that which regenerates you through peacefulness and joy. Give generously to yourself to be able to give generously to others. You have unusual ideas or ways of being that suit you, but may not suit others. When people are achieving levels of peace, it makes some people, I didn't know this until recent, it makes some people uncomfortable because you're unbothered, or you're finding a place that is a neutral point where peace resides, right? So you have unusual ideas or ways of being that suit you but may not suit others. Work with what works best for you without trying to force yourself to conform. We just had this discussion about you have to pronounce it this way. No, you have to do it that way. No, you don't. Where's your heart? My heart, well, I follow my, good. How does your heart feel? Light. Good. You're in the right direction. This approach brings well-being and creative success. Spiritual guidance. Nana Buluku is the grandmother creatrice, the supreme feminine creative principle of West African myth. She creates the universe, then resets it. So it's very much like Kali, the bringer of chaos and destruction to build new things, right? It's like a forest fire. Sometimes it ignites on its own, and it clears debris to bring new life forth. There's a wisdom to even destructions. This intersection of rest and extraordinary creative power is repeated in numerous spiritual traditions from cultures around the world. This theme is also present in the lives of spiritual innovators. Didn't we just... fucking guys, you amazing. Innovators, originators, we just talked about it, in disciplines ranging from the sciences to the art. Innovators to the arts, to the sciences. Oh my God. When you are boldly ambitious and creatively confident of the fulfillment of your life purpose. Did you see that? Boldly ambitious and creatively confident of the fulfillment of your life purpose and heart-inspired plans. Did you hear that? Heart-inspired plans. There is no right way. You're about to do shit that's never been done before. You're about to say something that has been said 1,000 times, but the way you say it has never been said like that before, which inspires change. It may seem that rest is the last thing you have time to do, for there is so much to be accomplished. Yet, the conscious use of deep rest allows us to connect deeply to the divine creative genius. Taking time for renewing stillness can allow us to work smarter rather than always working harder. That's right. African spirituality is based on a holistic view where no issue in one's life is separate from the spiritual world. Recognizing that spirit is intimately involved and lovingly invested in every single aspect of your life is how you begin to generate restfulness consciousness. This type of consciousness is based on the trust that spirit knows what you are here to do and wants to help you to do it. You don't have to orchestrate the details of your life nor figure out everything or anything on your own. You do not need to have signs to prove something is happening every single day. When you need is faith in the fundamental goodwill that the divine has towards you and your life purpose, the reason for which you signed up for life in the first place. Trust your irreverence. Trust this feeling that you're, well, I don't understand. I mean, how do I do this? I mean, I've never seen it done like that before. Yeah, go do it. From a place of restful consciousness, you can make profound progress. You can release striving and pursuit in favor of activity that comes from a place of inner inspiration, born from rest. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to tell you, I got to stop here for a minute. When I was living in New York with my twin, like back in 2016, I got a catalog from, I think it was either, I forgot who it was. I don't know if it was Anthropology or Free People. The whole catalog had women in sleeping poses. They were resting in their bed, resting on a lounge chair, resting in a hammock, but they were all sleeping. And I was like, this is brilliant. The one thing we don't do enough as Americans, I don't know about you guys in Europe, we don't sleep enough at all. So sleep for us is like, oh my God, I'm going to sleep. You know, it's almost like sleep porn. I was looking at the calendar going, this is sleep porn. This is insane. And it was very beautiful to watch. Like I was looking, I kept looking at the catalog, looking at these, and it relaxed me. It was insane. In the mystical traditions of many cultures, it is considered that we incubate in silence and spaciousness in periods of rest. Through the invisible workings of the most willing and loving, spirit, all quiet and openness are responded to with renewed energy, clearer directions, and helpful guidance. Through a process of regular restfulness, you will likely find yourself becoming more active and certainly more productive. Rather than continuously discharging energy without adequately restoring yourself, you will be regenerating more swiftly and thoroughly on all levels of your being and continually amplifying your energetic output. Your actions will have further reach. You'll have more to share with your loved ones. Conscious rest is a sacred subservience of the established disorder that would have you chasing your tail, running yourself ragged, and wearing yourself out in the belief that somehow it would help you get to where you want to be, to make the contribution that you want to make. Instead, you will be healing and growing and creating from a place of inner trust, creating a new world order. Did you hear it? A new world order in harmony with divine genius. I couldn't have, this was amazing. As Americans, we feel sad. I agree with you. Sleep is my superpower. You're lucky. Kali is the representation of principles and time and space. Beautiful. I'm the heart of all. I'm the art all the way. Good for you, Billy. So any questions or comments? I have a kid that has slept no less than 14 hours at a time as a newborn. That's fabulous. And perfectly healthy. Yeah, sleep. You know, my twin used to, I remember once my twin slept, I was trying to call him. I was like, we were just coming into union and I called him and I was like panic going, oh my God, did he get hurt? What happened? He slept for 27 hours, 27 hours. And he called, groggy as hell, called me and said, oh yeah, and he did. He would sleep like that sometimes. He would just, I'll be honest, he'd smoke pot and just say, fuck this, let's just sleep. And he was a master at sleep. He could sleep anywhere, anytime, and that was his superpower. So sleep is amazing. Any questions or comments? I had that card from someone long ago. I'm surrounded by people like that. It challenges their comfort. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're clearly all here for the same reason. So anyway, any other questions or comments? I'm going to let you guys go. I want to thank you so much. And the book name, it's not a book, it's an oracle deck, Billy. It's called Earth Warriors Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And you can't buy a bad deck from her. It's impossible. It's right. Does anybody disagree? The prophet. Here, let me spell it out for you. Hang on. Let me answer this. It's called The Prophet by Khalil. It's one of the most, and I might have, hang on. Khalil, hang on. Gibran. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. Why do we feel our twin will never be back? Do you honestly feel your twin will never be back, or is this fear? Make sure you understand what you're feeling. Is it fear Or is your heart chakra saying they'll never be back? You know? And then you've got to meditate. You got to meditate on that and see if you can. And I just got restrictions for what I said. So somebody out there just flagged me for whatever reason, which is weird. Fear and heart chakra. Yeah. I'm looking at this. This is interesting. I'm going to send you a screenshot of this, you guys. I'll put it on my connect. I need you guys to see this. This is very interesting because the restriction that I'm getting is based as if I was talking about some word shit. So there's somebody flagging my lives. So that's why I'm getting shadow banned, believe it or not. And that's happening. So do me a favor. If you really like what I do, go ahead and like as many of my videos as you can to bring them up to speed on my TikTok. Because for some reason, I'm having people coming in who are not happy with what I'm saying and flagging it to TikTok so that now my live can't be found, which is why many of you who follow me aren't getting notification when I do my lives. And they're also setting it up so that they're, shadow banning me. You can't find me, right? You will not be able to find me, things of that nature. So what I will say to you is that if you don't like what I'm saying, right? Scroll on. If you're an American, especially if you're an American doing that, you are an absolute a-hole, because as an American, you should want everyone to have freedom of speech. Absolutely should be what you want. So if this is an American doing that, shame on you, because you are un-American and you are not a patriot and you don't know anything about free speech. You have no idea what you're doing. So just keep scrolling. I wish I knew who it was because I'd block them. They want to boss people around. Got to start blocking them if they get nasty. I block people all the time. If they're pro any Geno, they're blocked. If I see in the comments, I look at something that comes on my feed and they're pro whatever, I block them. I don't even want them ever to find me. I don't want them near me. You know what I mean? Even on social media. I wasn't able to post the third. Thank you. I wonder if my trying twice has tripped to something. Oh, I don't know. No one has that right. Well, yeah, but they exercise it. But anyway, so with that said, I want to send you so much love. I will upload this video today when it's downloaded from TikTok for me. And go check it out. Go, share it with other people who you think might benefit from this conversation. Because to be honest with you, this separation of twin flames and being in union and then suddenly your twin wants to fucking leave, that's earth shattering. That's like everything's fine and suddenly they pull the rug from under your feet. That's earth shattering. Okay? And it can trigger the fuck out of you where you lash out. You also lash out. And I'm counseling you to try to keep it calm. Okay? All right. My most possible twin flame birthday is today, August 1st. Happy birthday. Yeah, that's the good. That's high. Okay. All right. Cool. So sending you much love. Be well. And hopefully we'll talk again soon. Hopefully tomorrow morning. All right.